Good morning, everyone. It's June 22nd, 2019. YouTube has straight up shadow banned me. I used to get a fair amount of views, and that view count has dwindled to nearly nothing. And it's very frustrating, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start uploading to BitChute first. So if you like my content, you'll find it there before you'll find it on YouTube. Fuck YouTube for banning or shadow banning me. I've done nothing wrong. I don't encourage people to hurt each other or anything like that. And meanwhile, they have perverts making disgusting videos. And, well, I'm tired of being shadow banned. Now over there on BitChute, my view count is a bit higher, not as high as I'd like it to be, but then again, I only have 110 subs there so far, which is why I would like you to go ahead and go over there and sub there, because YouTube don't even put me in the search results. But I didn't start this video to talk about YouTube. NASA-funded study, over 32 advanced civilizations have collapsed before us, and we're next, or next in line. And it's true, many civilizations before ours has fallen. And many of them have fallen pretty much in the same way. And we're currently experiencing that slow rot. Although our civilization has not lasted as long as, say, Rome or Sumeria or Babylon, but they all eventually collapsed for one reason or another, and it seemed to be around excessive warfare and a lot of natural catastrophes along with it. There are people who think that we've been wiped out as a species 4 times, or three or 4 times. I believe it's 3. The first by wind, fire, it's 4 times. Wind, fire, ice, and water. Water being the last instance, Noah's flood. As long as any longtime reader of this column knows, we routinely draw from historical lessons to highlight that this time is not different. We are not any better than previous civilizations. In fact, a lot of these previous civilizations have had a longer lasting impact on the way we live than any of us will ever know. Take Sumeria, for example. They were responsible for the wheel, the way we tell time, astronomy, laws, schools. Everything we know dates back to them. And as far as anyone knows, not that someone couldn't have been before them, it certainly does look like that's the case, but there's nothing left telling what happened. And so we don't know what those civilizations believed before Sumeria. But everything we know comes from Sumeria, and they too collapsed. Throughout the 18th century, for example, France was the greatest superpower in Europe, if not the world. But they became complacent, believing they had some sort of divine right to reign supreme, just like we do today. United States, we believe or our government anyway, believes that it has the right to reign supreme. The French government spent money like drunken sailors. They had substantial welfare programs, free hospitals, and grand monuments. And these monuments, in my opinion, are a waste of money. They held vast territories overseas, engaged in constant warfare. Sound familiar? It's exactly us. French budget deficits were out of control, and they resorted to going heavily into debt and rapidly debasing their currency. Does that sound familiar? The French economy ultimately failed, bringing with it a 26-year period of hyperinflation, civil war, military conquest, and genocide. And history is full of examples. We can look at ancient Mesopotamia to the Soviet Union, which show that whenever societies reach unsustainable levels of resource consumption and allocation, they collapse. Does that sound familiar? The thing about collapsing societies is the government gets more and more heavy-handed throughout its progress, or regress, if you want to call it that. A recent research paper funded by NASA highlights the same premise. According to the authors, collapses of even advanced civilizations have occurred many times in the past 5,000 years, and they were frequently followed by centuries of population and cultural decline and economic regression. The results of their experiments show that some of the very clear trends which exist today, unsustainable resource consumption and economic stagflation that favors the elite, can very easily result in a collapse. And not only can it easily result in a collapse, but it can also result in massive amounts of civil unrest. In fact, they write that collapse is very difficult to avoid and requires major policy changes. And this isn't good news, because there will be no major policy changes. They will keep cramming people into these prisons, which costs a lot of money. And they will continue buying weapons of war, which cost even more money. And they will continue all these things until there's nothing left. Here's the thing. Between massive debts, deficit, money printing, war, resource depletion, and so on, our modern society seems riddled with these risks. And it's not seems, they are riddled. We are riddled with these risks. There's a far greater trend across history that supersedes all of the rest. And that trend is the rise of humanity. Human beings are fundamentally tool creators. We take problems and turn them into opportunities. We find solutions. We adapt and overcome. And we've done a great job of that, right? I mean, we survived many, many cataclysmic events, and humanity has always managed to spring back somehow. Now, will we continue to be that lucky as a species? Probably not. And by the way, it's pretty likely that human beings have been around a lot longer than our scientists will or have led us to believe. A lot longer. The world is not coming to an end. It's going to reset. It's going to reset, and people will see it as being the end because it may very well be their end. But it's not the end of everything and everyone. And this is one of the reasons why I don't fear the end, the dying. I just don't. There's a huge difference between the two, okay? The end means nothing left. No humans ever will occupy this planet again. Reset means a lot of people are going to be wiped away, but at the end of all of it, there will be man still standing. We will be in a state of primitive living, but still standing. Now, think about the systems we are living under. A tiny elite has total control of the money supply. They wield intrusive spy networks and weapons of mass destruction. They can confiscate the wealth of others in their sole discretion. They can indebt unborn generations. And they have. And curiously, these are the same people who are so incompetent that they can't put a website together. It's not working, and just about everyone knows it. It reminds me of that song, P Sells Who's Buying. One of the lines in it, if there's a new way, I'll be the first in line, but it better work this time. We've tried all manner of governments. We've tried kingship, where you had a monarchy ruling over everyone. We've had every form of government you can think of, except one, and that is no government. We've not tried that yet. We're taught growing up that we the people have the power to effect radical change in the voting booth. But this is another lie. Voting only changes the players, does not change the game. And a lot of times the players don't even change. I mean, look how long Nancy Pelosi and a lot of the other senators and congressmen have been there. A long ass time, a lot of them, right? I mean, these people literally aged in office. They literally spent a large chunk of their lives in these positions. Technology is one major game changer. The technology exists today to completely revolutionize the way we live and govern ourselves. Today's system is just a 19th century model applied to a 21st century society. A room full of men making decisions about how much money to print, among other things. And these men have no business making decisions for the rest of us, yet they feel they have the right to. These people, these longtime politicians, congressmen, senators, they feel like they have more of a right to run your life than you do. But given that the majority of Western governments borrow money just to pay interest on money they've already borrowed, it's obvious that the current game is almost finished. And when it ends, there will be a reset. And I don't think that the ending in itself is going to facilitate a reset. Pretty much has to be along the lines of huge disasters. That's how most other major resets have happened. Seriously. Rome didn't reset. They flat out collapsed. There was no more Rome for a long time, right? So, in my opinion, when a civilization collapses, it doesn't automatically just start resetting. There's more to it than that. This is why you want to have a plan B, and why you want to have all your eggs, or don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And that's easy for somebody with a good bit of money to say. But for the majority of people out there, they can only afford one place to live. I mean, I have a place to go if shit hit the fan. And I have a group of people that I get along with, to coexist with, to cohabitate with. But I don't have the means to go and buy a property and throw a bunch of goats or cows, or chickens, or whatever you put on a homestead. That takes, considerable resources, which I don't have. So putting all your eggs in one basket, it may not be the smartest thing to do. How does a person who has almost nothing, I can't say that actually, I don't have almost nothing. I have a good bit of property. I just don't have real estate. But these civilizations have come and gone. And you're going to have to be prepared as best you can for when this reset happens. Collapse, actually. The reset is something different than the collapse. But 32 advanced civilizations have collapsed before us. And there's no reason to think that we will be immune to these same things. A lot of them, again, went through the very same cycles we go through now. Maybe not to the point of extreme stupidity, like, say, the trans community, but still, we're just like them. And I can't see us making it another 100 years. I can't see it. How about you? Can you see our civilization making it another 100 years? I mean, I could be wrong. But it seems like everything that we were warned about in certain books, Book of Revelation specifically, among other books, the Lost Book of Enki, for example, I've read that. It seems like, the things that they talk about in those books are happening to us now. In the Book of Enki, for example, Lost Book of Enki, I should say, for example, it talks about these climatic cycles and how they really devastate things. It talks about a dwarf star system that interacts with ours and is responsible for many of our extinction cycles. Everything matches up. And there's subtle differences, but nothing really meaningful. And this happened over and over and over again. And the key difference between us and those civilizations is this. They left us a planet, right? They didn't destroy the planet to the extent we have. And they were around a lot longer than we have been. We've managed to destroy this planet in a very, very short period of time. It hasn't been that long that we were industrialized. And during that time, we've destroyed the planet. Where are humans going to go during this reset? After this reset? Where are they going to go? We have nuclear power plants all over the place. Bioweapons facilities. Where are we going to go? Anyway, I thought I'd talk to you all about this. Probably won't get many views there on YouTube, but fuck it, I'll do it anyway. Hope everyone has a good day.